So welcome back to the channel. Since getting the Mini, there's always been one thing that's always bugged me, and that is to do with those. So let me show you. So these obviously weren't fitted as a factory option. That kind of gives it away. Plus the brackets haven't been fitted correctly. They've got screws here, but not at the back there to support it. So that is why. I'll probably show you better on this one. So that is why they wiggle so much. So all I need to do is put another fixing through there. So either just drill a hole and put a pop rivet in to fix those. But we also need to wire them up because neither of them are connected. So it started raining the other day when I was first doing the video, and I gave up as I didn't want to get wet. But making a loom is quite simple. For this we need a fuse and a relay and some ring terminals and I think some little bullet connectors just to connect up into those. A bit nasty, but so the idea, if you look at the relay, is pin 1 and pin 2 make like a little electromagnet which pulls that little lever down and connects 3 and 5. So pin 1 needs to go to a high beam feed, so we'll take that off the back of the headlight. You can see here I've pulled the plug off. So I've now put a wiring diagram on the screen and it shows pin 9, the green and yellow, should be high beam. So I'll check that in a second just by probing it. So when 1 becomes live and 2's at ground, it completes that circuit, and there's a little electromagnet in this relay which then just pulls the little lever down there and connects 3 and 5. So 3 will go through the fuse to a supply, which I'll probably piggyback off this jump point here. So supply through the fuse to pin 3. So when the headlights are on, that switch comes down and it connects 3 and 5. So 5 then runs to the spotlights, which the spotlights will then be are earthed through the brackets anyway, which I will just double check. And that is as simple as that. So we need to make a loom up. The fuse needs to be as close to the battery supply as possible. So this has a little mounting plate in this bag. So I think I'll mount that there. And then that'll just keep that nice and short to that supply. The relay, so we've got a little relay holder here. I think we'll put down in here so it's out of the way. So we just need to run a wire through there to the relay. Then we need to have wires from the relay. We'll run across. We'll go through this grommet here and follow this wire in, and then they will run down and then they'll come up across here and follow this pipe. We can then pick up an earth point here, or we can use that earth point there, and then the wire to the headlight for the supply can then run up here and to that sits there, so that can just tee off there onto here, and then the spotlights will just run across that pipe, and then we'll follow this wiring up to here to then go to both spotlights. So it's quite simple. So here we have one loom. It's just made with the ends just left along at the moment, so we can then fit it so it all fits nicely to the car. This is made out of 1mm squared automotive wire, so it's good for 16.5 amps. So the two lights combined are roughly 10 amps absolute maximum, so that's more than enough for that. So let's chuck it on. I start by pop riveting the relay holder in place and running the 12-volt supply through a little grommet to the fuse. I then run the loom through the grommet and then up the bonnet hinge, and then tie wrapping it in place. I then route it round the rest of the bonnet to reach all its destinations. So the relay are fitted behind here. It'll be nicely hidden out of the way. I just need to trim that off because that pop rivet broke in the wrong place. So we've got the wire comes through the grommet here, which will go to this little fuse. I'll mount on there. So I just need a ring terminal, fit a ring terminal onto the end there, and we'll piggyback off this supply. So that feeds the supply to the relay, which will then go onto the spotlights. So the loom follows through, goes through this grommet here, bit of a loop there to allow for the bonnet to go up and down, and then that follows up to the side. We just need to put the ring terminal onto there for that ground. Following up a bit further, we then just need to splice in, I believe off the top of my head it's that wire there, but I will just double check. with a probe and putting the lights on. So we just need to tie him in, or we need to splice him into there. And then following the loom follows all the standard OEM wiring. And then we just need to terminate these two to the spotlights. So we'll carry on now and get them done and then have a test. For anybody in the UK that's interested in doing these, want to know where I got the parts from, the braided sleeving, the glue line sleeving I put over the ends to stop it fraying, and the wire came from a company called 12 Volt Planet online. Ring terminals, I think 12 Volt Planet supply them, but these ones came from RS Components. The fuse holder, the relay and the relay holder all came off eBay. So I've now got main beam on. I'm just going to use this cheap little tester just to double check that it is that one there. So you can see that's lighting up, so that wire there is positive. Well, it's got a supply going to it, so now I'm going to turn main beam off. Main beam is now off, it's still on dip. And that's now not lighting up, which means that one there, the green with the yellow stripe, is the main beam supply. So this is a splice that we're going to use. It's basically just a little metal tube, and we crimp both ends to join in the new wire. So I cut that main beam supply in half. I then crimp the splice on one end, and then on the other end I fit the wire along with the trigger that goes to the relay. I then cover the splice with a little bit of glue lined heat shrink just to seal it up. Then the final part to do is just to crimp on the female bullet terminals for the spotlights. So there we go, the loom's all fitted. You saw me put the ring terminal on to the fuse holder. The fuse holder then runs through to the relay, which that's in. I just need to cut him off still. The loom then runs through up here. We've got the ground going onto that ground point there on the bonnet. They've then spliced into here and put a bit of automotive tape around there just so it looks a bit more OEM and you wouldn't even notice. The loom then runs up and then connects to the two lights. So the last thing we've got to do before we try it, let's get our fuse. We'll just put a 10 amp one in there for now. It shouldn't draw 10 amps, so 10 amps is more than good enough, and we have a little cover to go over there, but we'll just make sure everything works before we cover it up. Look at them, looking good. Last thing to do. There. Spotlights are all working, so it's a good little job. Something fairly simple, but I've just kind of been putting it off with trying to get other things done. But yeah, pleased with that. Not going to make a massive amount of difference, I can't imagine, with main beam, but I think it looks cool anyway. So thank you very much for watching, and please like and subscribe. There will be more videos coming soon on the Mini, because end of April it is going to the Nürburgring, so that'll be a true test of everything that I've done to it, whether it's fixed its problems, and hopefully we'll make it back in one bit without any breakdowns, but you'll have to wait and see.